Hello, incoming L2k students and families. This is Jason C. in France. I am here making a quick video for you. Hopefully, it's reasonably quick. Just going over some questions that I've gotten from people over email the last couple of weeks, as well as some historical, fairly common questions that people want to know about Legacy 2000. So here we go. Um, Lots of questions about over the years and recently about what's the workload and what sort of things am I going to be doing as an L2K student. So somebody asked what's the most challenging part of the program. And I think the answer to that is simply, it depends. We do a lot of writing, a lot of public speaking, a lot of collaboration with others, a lot of attention to detail and research. And so, any one of those things might be the thing that you are going to have the biggest amount of growth to make on, and that might be your most challenging thing. For many students, it's simply time management and avoiding procrastination. And so, what we want you to do is know what your challenges are, know what your areas of growth are going to be, and then systematically and with support from your teacher, attack those head on and take something that is a challenge and make it be something that you're now good at. So how do students in L2K balance their workload and other extracurriculars? Somebody asked to have time to do orchestra. Somebody else asked if you have time to be in high school sports. If you came to any of the application nights and asked the students this question, I think the answer is always they do tons and tons of stuff, right? So our students are the most involved students in the building. And so the answer to can you do it is always yes. You can fit things into your schedule. You can be busy. You can do sports. You can do marching band. You can do orchestra. You can take classes and do lessons outside of it. You can be in club sports. You can do all of the things that you want to do. The question about how is you get support from your teacher. You really focus on your time management and you just be aware of those things and you don't just let them slide. For our part as L2K teachers, we provide you with an assignment calendar at the beginning of every semester that tells you exactly when all of your due dates for the semester will be so that you can plan ahead for that. And then, we try to support you along the way. So how many logs are required each year? Well, as you know, you're going to be writing a paper called a reflective log throughout your 4 years of the program. They change a little bit from year to year, but really it's a unique paper that has you do more than just research about a topic. You also have to have your own ideas about the topic and then take action on those ideas. So we're going to ask this year that you write part of your first log over summer. We're going to give you all of the details on what a log is, what the rubric is for writing it, as well as some exemplars, and then ask that you draft a couple of the sections over the summer, and then you're going to come in and have a few days, maybe a week, to keep working on the other sections, and then we're going to have a draft that's due pretty quick. We're going to do that because we know that that first rough draft is going to get a lot of feedback and need a lot of work. And so we're going to give you all of that feedback as teachers, and we're going to have a month roughly at the beginning of that first semester to get that log up to perfection for everybody in the class. We really want you to learn how to write those. So that first log, we're going to get lots and lots of rounds of feedback on so that you really learn how to write a good log on the first one. And the support mechanisms are the same things that are always the support mechanisms in school and in this program. That's going to be your teachers and your other classmates. And so we will provide you reviews for revision on any log that you have, first one, second one, third one, all the way throughout your freshman year. You can always get feedback from your teacher on that. You can also work with your community in the classroom and get feedback from other students. What if students have trouble determining their L2K projects? Will there be a list of ideas to help them make a decision? And so, L2K, one of the most powerful things about it that I focus on is that it's a choice-based program as far as what you write your papers on and what you give your speeches on. And so, the answer to the question, what am I going to write my first paper on, is always, what are you interested in? And so once you have an area of interest, and we hope that you're naturally curious about the world, that you have an inquisitive nature, it should be easy to say like, oh, I'm interested in this. I'm interested in this. I'm interested in this career path, or how this works, or why this happens in the world. Then again, through conversations and communication with your teacher, we can narrow that into what would be a good way to write this as a paper. So we don't just give you like a bulleted list and say, here are the things you can write a paper on, because literally you can write your paper on anything that you're interested in, as long as you find a STEM angle on it. What is the extra time commitment? This one is huge because there's lots of different vibes out there about L2K and how much time it takes. I always tell my students, and those who believe me on it end up knowing that I'm telling them the truth, which is if you use your class time well every day, and you can give me 20 minutes to a half an hour a night on average, you will not think that L2K is a lot of work, and you will get projects that are done well, and feel good about them. The thing that sometimes gets people is if they procrastinate. And so if you wait a couple of weeks to start your paper and you've taken 14 days where you haven't written anything, the crunch time to get the paper completed is going to feel a lot more intense to you than if you had spread that out over the long time. The other thing about it is your paper is not going to be as good because you don't have time to think about your ideas. So the extra time commitment is not huge. I know that there are students out there who sometimes say, oh, L2K takes so much time. And that might be true some nights after they've procrastinated for a while, but really it's not a program that's designed to just be about grinding out hours and hours and hours and hours of time every night. I would not support a program like that. I don't believe in just giving you guys busy work to keep you off the streets at night or something like that. We want you to have a life. We want you to be involved in those extracurriculars. We want you to have just, random downtime, friend time, hang out with your family time. So don't be afraid of that. If you can commit to good time management, I think you will find that the workload in L2K is very reasonable. Examples of projects or assignments. What are some of the projects in L2K? Well, as I ramble on about that, I'm going to just let this video play. You do all kinds of things. You write papers. L2K will turn you into a fabulous writer. You give those public speeches, both individually and in groups. Freshman year, you do a time management project where you track your time in 15-minute intervals throughout an entire week. You also research colleges your freshman year. You also get to be given like a random upper level science or math topic that you learn about and get to teach the class about. We do build projects. We do junkyard wars. What you're seeing on screen right here is sophomore year. This is a time lapse of an entire week where a group was taking apart a printer to figure out how it works. This is from the sophomore reconstruction deconstruction project. After the deconstruction phase, these students would be asked to complete a task by putting these components back together to create something that does something else. So the class project might be put together your printer to make a vehicle. It might be put together your printer to make a stair climber or a ball launcher or something like that. And so you get all of these different fun things that you can do throughout the program. So we have other questions. Some are schedule related. And so people want to know what else they can do their freshman year and what electives they get and all of those kind of fun things. And L2K and Legacy High School offers tons of electives. I will tell you that the answer for your freshman year is it's pretty tight. Okay, you don't have a lot of freedom in your schedule because of the required classes that all freshmen have to take. But it does start really opening up for sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. But I'll get into some of the details of that as we go here. How many L2K teachers are there per grade? So we have 3 freshman teachers, 3 sophomore teachers, right now 2 junior teachers. That goes 2 to 3, depending on other scheduling concerns. So we might have 2 teachers in which one of them teaches 2 different sections. That's what we have this year. And then we have senior is either 2 teachers or 1 teacher. again, depending on what our teachers are teaching for their other classes in their day. And we don't follow you from year to year. So you have your freshman teacher, then you'll have a different sophomore teacher. Every once in a while, a teacher will switch levels, and you may have a teacher twice in a row, but you do not necessarily follow your teacher throughout the program. What level of language will I be placed in? Well, you will be placed based on the language department's placement matrix. So if you're in Spanish 2, I believe your natural placement will be Spanish 3. We're going to work really hard to get you in the correct level of those. And again, those are questions you can ask those world language teachers and counselors on the March 7th parent night. Can I take honors classes? So sometimes we have, for our science curriculum, we have, for example, as freshmen, you can take either biology or CP biology. CP stands for college preparatory, and that would be the class that all L2k students take. So we'd want you in CP bio. Now, we don't necessarily have honors level math classes. We have our math classes, and we put you in the math class that you are ready for. So if you are ready for math 2, you take math 2. If you're ready for math 3, you take math 3, and so on and so forth. For like Edge, there is just the Edge class. We don't get into the advanced or honors level of those classes until sophomore year. AP classes freshman year. So AP classes, there's not a lot of opportunities for those as a freshman. Again, the opportunities start opening up for sophomore, junior, senior, really mostly junior, senior, but there are some sophomore opportunities. We want to encourage you to try to take those AP classes, but we also don't want you to try to put all of your eggs in that basket. We know that AP classes are something that people really, really want to take a lot of, and we encourage you, again, to take a lot of them, but we also want you to be thoughtful about it and not make it just be a race to take as many as you can. There are things to be said for high school that don't involve just getting your GPA up with your AP classes. So they're important, but they're not the end of the world. We would rather see well-rounded students that are taking things that they're interested in. If you take 3 or 4 or 5 AP classes in a year, that's when you're going to really start feeling like that workload is overbearing. So, we'll work with you on those things, but generally the answer to taking AP classes freshman year is no, it just doesn't fit in your schedule. When is class registration? So that's going to be happening right around this time in your middle schools. And then you're going to come into that March 7th parent night and find out more details about that. All right, let's talk about the nitty-gritty of the freshman schedule. What you see on your screen right now is sort of a standard, typical non-L2k freshman schedule. We have an 8-period bell day. You, as a full-time student, take 6 out of 8 classes. So you'll notice no Legacy 2000 on there. Also, the periods are just there to show you where things could be slotted. It's not that math is always first period. It's not that Edge is always 3 and 4. So you'll notice you get your 4 cores in there. You get your math, you get your science with your biology. And then Edge is your English government economics. That takes your English and social studies credits. And then a typical freshman would have 2 periods of electives to complete their full load of 6 out of 8. Now, an L2k student takes one of those electives and makes it be L2k. That then opens up the possibility of them, oh, and I have biology on there twice somehow. That should not be, that second biology should be an elective. I apologize for that. Hold on one second. All right, so I fixed it. So you'll notice you only have 1 period of biology. And so then you do have the opportunity to sometimes end up getting a 7th period in your day if you combine L2K with a world language or music. This would be sort of an atypical L2K because of the math being math 1. The most typical L2K sequence would be starting in math 2. That would give you math 2 as a block in the fall and math 3 as a block in the spring. This one is the one that probably, not guaranteed, but probably most of you will get. We'll talk more about math in a few minutes here. You could also end up starting in math 3 and again, sort of go back to that math 1 sort of schedule where math only takes up 1 period of your day. And then you get those extra possible elective periods. All right, so here's the math questions. The most common 4-year sequence for legacy 9th graders is to do this. This would just be, you come in as a 9th grader ready for math 1, you do 1 math class a year, you end in trig pre-calc as a senior. If you get a really good grade in that math 1 class and you want to advance, we let those math 1 students go and block their math for 10th grade. So that would give them math 2 and 3. That allows them to get to AP calculus as a 12th grader. Well, for you guys, the most common 4-year sequence is this. To start in math 2 and 3, that gives you trig pre-calc as a 10th grader. It gives you AP calculus as an 11th grader, and then the choice between calc 2 or AP statistics as a 12th grader. However, we're going to put you where you are fit, right? Where you need to be. And so if you are ready for math 3, we'll put you in math 3, and that will be your schedule. If you're ready for trig pre-calc, we'll put you in that. You notice that that pathway would get you to calc 3. If you're ready for AP calculus, we'll put you there. We will put you where you are ready to start based on where you are at as an 8th grader and our placement testing scenarios. So this will just sort of be the automatic placement if you are an honors 8th grade math class, okay? If you were in general math 8 or regular math 8, you would be in the math 1 placement. If you would like to do that and you would like to step up to the math 2 and 3, which we would recommend you at least considering, I'll be contacting you with math 1 review materials for working on over the summer. And then the placement testing for students who are trying to get into math 3 or higher will be Wednesday, April 27th at 1:30 in Mobile 4 on the east side of Legacy. Now, you may not need to sign up for this, okay? If you are in, for example, geometry at your middle school, that would correlate with math 2, and your math class that you would start in would already be math 3, and so you wouldn't need to take that placement test. If you were in algebra 2, then your natural placement would probably be trig pre-calc. And so we will work through all of this. I'm going to put the link to the placement testing into an email that I send out to you guys after that 8th grade parent night. What I would like you to do is be patient and just know that we will get you put in the right math class. We're not trying to restrict anybody's math placement. But I will tell you that we also want you to be in the right place so that your future in math is strong and you can maximize your potential. Sometimes it's better to take math 2 and 3 than to just take math 3, simply because taking that math 2 gives you a really, really strong high school level foundation for what you're going to be doing throughout your high school career. Both of these are just fine, but you'll notice that they don't accelerate you any further, that difference between math 2 and 3 versus just math 3 as a freshman. So something to consider. Again, I'll be working with each of you individually on this to figure out your plan. And once I get more information from the middle schools about what classes you are in, we will place you correctly, I promise. All right, other questions. What can parents do to support their children in the program? I think the biggest thing you can do is be involved. Know where the teacher is posting things on their website, know what the calendar is like, support the mindset that we are trying to imbue as teachers, where we are being curious about the world, we are encouraging hard work, dedication, positivity, all of those kind of things. And then again, communicate with the teacher. Are there things they can do this summer to prepare? We have a upcoming list that I'm going to show you here in a few minutes about books to read, things to watch, things to listen to. But basically, I would say the best thing you can do is consume STEM, be aware of the world around you, think about ideas, think about what you're interested in. And we're going to have you again, just start writing a log this summer. The most challenging part of the program, I think I already talked about that. It's whatever is most challenging for you. Is there orientation for L2K? Yes, in August before the school year starts. We have not picked the date for that yet, but we will bring you all in. We're going to have a presentation in our auditorium and go over a lot of the details. We'll have some guest speakers there, some alumni, and maybe some professionals. So what else do you have for me? Well, if you have questions that weren't covered in this video, I encourage you guys to send them my way. I'll put my email address and my phone number here in a minute. So recommendations. If you go to the Legacy High School Library, there's a link on there called L2K links, and our librarian does a fabulous job of just linking up interesting science articles there that L2K students can sometimes go to for ideas. There's some random books there that by no means is an exhaustive list, but those are books that might get you thinking sometimes about how science works, sometimes about some mindset sort of things. Sometimes they're not, they're actual fiction books like Project Hail Mary, but they're books that might get you thinking about things and spark some ideas in your brain. Things to watch, YouTube science videos. You can start figuring out good info from bad info by searching through YouTube and start getting that your sort of radar on that pinged. These are, again, some of these fiction, some of them nonfiction, just things to spark ideas and spark inspiration. Things to listen to. Here's some good science podcasts for you that can get you thinking about the world. And we would suggest you keep a commonplace book. A commonplace book is just a sort of old-fashioned concept of scientists keeping a little book around that they write down all of their ideas, their inspirations, their epiphanies. Sleep with this by your bedside table and wake up at 2 a.m. with your idea for your further development, right? And so we're going to encourage that you get one of these and write in it and keep it as sort of like your L2K notebook. All right. Well, we are so excited to have you in the program. I hope that video wasn't too painful for you, but I guess you can always stop it and pause it along the way. There is my contact information. So feel free to send me any emails that you might have with any questions. Again, be patient on a lot of this. We will get you your schedule worked out and we will get you where you need to be. All right. Thank you.